Do not trade the greatness of tomorrow for the pleasures of today. And I'll repeat it one more time. Do not trade the greatness of tomorrow for the pleasures of today. One of the things that I struggled with a lot in my teens and up until last year was watching adult content, and a very bad habit formed from watching adult content, let's say. It was very difficult to break because there was at times where I was partaking in this exercise, let's say, a couple times a day. It was really, really bad. It was excessive. And, you know, going into, was it 22 or 23? Going into 2022, I made it a mission of mine to completely stop. And I would say I was able to overcome it finally, but it took everything that I had. It took everything and me like giving it full attention and seeking out help in the way of reading and understanding how I can better myself. So when you have a quote like that, don't put off the greatness of tomorrow for the pleasures of today. What that means to me is you're throwing your life away. You're throwing your life away for something so trivial like pleasure. I think as a man, the way that your life is should be set up, you should derive happiness from, or let's say fulfillment would be a better word. You should you should get that from the pursuit of your dreams and your goals. And that's where a lot of people, they tend to not look at things from that perspective. They say, "Oh, I want to be happy," but what is happiness to you? A lot of people don't know, so they just procrastinate and say, "Yeah, I'll find it. I'm doing good." Blah blah blah. But truthfully, as a man, I think having a life worth living is a life that you're in the pursuit of greatness. You're in the pursuit of bettering yourself, of living your ideal or dream life. You know, you don't want to be stuck in a mundane situation for the rest of your life. You're there. You start at the bottom. We all start there, and you start building your way up. And when you're building that, that's where you're gonna get the most fulfillment. I mean, personally, I've worked some jobs before that I was very, let's say, my life felt really mediocre. And when you're going through that point in life where you're just working just to work, it sucks, man. It's a boring and not only boring, but it was very like life sucking. It was terrible. But when I started to prioritize bettering myself, when I started reading books and I started going to the gym, and I would say that was the happiest I've ever been in my life, was that moment where everything I was doing was to better myself. Everything that I was doing was helping me one way or another. Going to the gym, I was reading, I was meditating, I was writing, I was bettering myself every single way. I started my business, I quit my addictions. That was like one of the best feelings I've ever felt. Truthfully, I felt like, man, like if I were to die at this time of my life, I would be content. I would be proud of the man that I was becoming, you know? So I have a friend who comes to mind. He always has these conflicting thoughts of, well, I want to do this, but at the same time, I want to do this. For example, I want to start my business, but I'm young, I want to party. And I think the younger you are, the more you think about these things, but the more mature you become as a man. And when you take things from, a different perspective, you start to realize the pleasures of going out, partying, and all of that trivial stuff, that doesn't really make you happy. That doesn't really fulfill you. Afterwards, if you're hungover, you feel like shit. If you had a bad night, whatever the case may be, but you know what is fulfilling, you know what will be very fulfilling? You getting up early in the morning, or if you don't get up early, whatever time you get up, and you're after it. You're chasing your dreams. You're pursuing, you're doing everything in your possession to become that man, to become the best version of yourself, and to realize your goals and dreams. So I need you to understand in this life as a man, things are difficult, but if you live this life of self improvement and you're actually about it and you're serious about becoming the best version of yourself, that's where you're gonna be just that's where you're gonna find, for the most part, the most fulfillment. Now, that's something that I think you guys should internalize, meditate on that, understand what I'm saying, look back on it if you need to look back on it. But I'm gonna end it there. Walk with truth, walk with power, and I'll catch you on the next one.